Hey y'all, how you guys doing? I am ready. I have had an extremely hard past week and a half, and it has just disrupted my whole life, including some reading, and I'm getting behind on some things, but it is the weekend and I am ready to relax and start a new reading vlog. So Jen and I love doing our most anticipated videos. They are some of the more popular videos on our channel, and we honestly want to talk about the books in those videos that we really do intend on reading and want to read when they come out. So we thought it would be fun on every other month that we're not doing a most anticipated video to pick a most anticipated book to read for a vlog during that month. And Jen had like the super fun idea to start a TBR jar for all of the books. So in case you missed our May TBR video, I am going to show you a short clip of me picking my book for this vlog. All right, so let's see, I'm gonna pick. All right. It's an orange one, which means it is from January, February of 2024. And it's The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. So as you saw, my pick was The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins, and that was in our January, February 2024 most anticipated video. I have never read Rachel Hawkins before, and you guys know that we love thrillers on this channel, so it was just natural for me to want to pick this book up. Jen has already read this book and she really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to get into this. It should be a quick, fun read, just perfect read for the weekend. And I just want to show you guys my copy. This is my copy of the book, and it is from my library. I don't know why, but maybe they ordered too many of these books and decided to sell some, but this was in the library sale of my library. It was only 50 cents, and it is large print. It is large print, and it's so weird if you're not used to looking at large print books to look at them, because the font just looks so funny to me. But hopefully the large print will make it even faster to read, because I know like one reason I really love reading on my tablet is because you can change the font, you can change the size, you can make it look appealing to you, and I feel like that helps me read faster over the words. So maybe this will be a super quick book. So in case you missed Jen's review of this book, this is what I know, and I love going into almost all of my books blind, so I try not to know a lot, but based on what Jen has said, she feels like this book might have been a throwback to Evelyn Hugo, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is a book I have not read. The Taylor Jenkins Reid books, I know everyone loves them and thinks they're so good, but for some reason they're just not appealing to me. I just don't think, it feels to me like more just plain fiction or contemporary fiction, and I'm not super interested in books in that genre right now, but Jen said this is like a thriller version of that book. This is sort of like a throwback to that, and she even mentioned how you can see like the green dress right here, which is similar to one of the covers of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So let's go. Let's just get into it. Enough talking. I've been talking way too much. I'm just ready to relax here and read this book. Let's go.
Guys, it's time to read my TBR jar pick, and I picked it. We each picked our pick. How many times am I going to say pick? We each picked our pick during our May TBR video. I feel like I'm just saying TBR and pick a lot. So what I picked is A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. And I was debating as to how to read this, because I checked my library and they didn't have it. And I went to a couple different bookstores and they didn't have it. So I decided to look at a couple other library branches around me. The Dayton Metro library system, I haven't gotten a card there yet. I happened to look and they do have this book at the main library. So I decided I'm just gonna go get a Dayton Metro card and pick up, I say pick a million more times. I'm gonna pick up A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. So let's go see what that library's like. To do a ton of errands today, and a couple of them are waiting for pickup. So I don't know if you guys ever do that, where you bring something just in case you can get some reading done, and that's what I did, just in case I can get some reading done. Also, I knew I was gonna make a video talking about this, so I did start it, but I'm barely in it. One of the things that I love about books is when it has really short chapters for thrillers, and it has really short chapters. So I am very much appreciating that about this book, because it makes it feel like it's going super fast. So it's been a very, very long time since I read Shirley Jackson's A Haunting of Hill House. What sticks in my memory more is the Netflix series that was loosely based on her story and A Haunting of Hill House, and that was absolutely, I loved that series so much, and I feel that one's more stuck in my mind, and it is creepy. Like, it seriously creeped me out. If you haven't seen it and you like things like that, I definitely would recommend that. So this one so far, it isn't even worth mentioning. It's just about a woman who's a playwright, and she gets a grant to do whatever she wants to realize her dreams of a play. And she is in a town in the Northeast, and she's just kind of looking around, and a couple of creepy things happen so far, but nothing of note. So there's not much to go over in terms of what I've read so far. I just wanted to talk about what I had read that is very much relevant to this story, because it is loosely based, I think loosely based. We'll see. It almost makes me want to reread Shirley Jackson's book, and if I have time, I might do that after I read this one. So I am going to go on a bunch of errands. I don't think I have anything on the errands that would be of interest for the video today, so I don't think I'm going to include it, but the next time I record, let's hope I have a bunch more read.
Okay guys, quick update. I am flying through this book. I don't know if it's just the large font or the fact that it's a thriller or very interesting, but I am about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway. I'm on page 158, or really 159 of 386. So yeah, about halfway. Well, a little less. So yeah, a little less than halfway. And so far, I have found this book very fun and easy to read. You're following Camden, who is the kid that is inheriting this big mansion from his family, and Jules, who is his wife. And Camden just seems like he is dealing with some post-traumatic stress syndrome. It just seems to me he's dealing with a little bit of that just from being under the microscope growing up as a, really rich kid in this household. A lot of the stress maybe seems to be coming from Ruby herself, because he's constantly talking about, his family and some of the things they had to do as children. Like, he complains one time about not being able to eat Oreos, like that kind of thing. So I feel like he is maybe dealing with some drama or stress from his past. And Jules, who is his wife, and he is completely seemingly dedicated to her. He's constantly thinking about her and what she wants and what will make her happy. And he gets happy when she gets happy, just like, you know, a good husband. But she seems to have an ulterior motive. She's very clear that she plans on staying in this house no matter what, trying to get Camden, even though he's dealing with trauma and doesn't want to stay in the house or keep the house, trying to get him to want to stay. And she has some reasons behind it. They haven't told you her reasons yet. I have my guess what it is, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I do have a guess what it is, and I will let you know if I'm right or wrong. Usually when I have guesses this super early, and I guessed this actually very early into the book, the first time that you start getting Jules's point of view, you kind of understand that she has like an ulterior motive, sort of a deeper layer of reason for her to why she wants him to go back to this home. And I kind of thought it from the beginning. So we'll see. Usually when it's that early in the book, I'm wrong. And I actually don't actively try to guess. I pick up clues and hints pretty easily from books when I read them. I notice details and things that lead me to guessing some twists and things a lot of the time, but I don't actively try to guess. I try to just be along for the ride and enjoy the book. But I do have a theory on Jules, and we will see if I'm right or not. But I'm going to keep reading.
Hey guys, I'm doing I'm over 100 pages of A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. A couple things I wanted to update on. As I've been reading this, I know I already mentioned the Netflix series, A Haunting of Hill House. And I loved that Netflix series. And it's hard to get that out of my brain because I loved it so much. And it's hard to remember the original. And I believe I said that in a video. I can't remember if I said that in the video. But I had stopped at my library today because I wanted to read the original, and they have the coolest version of the Shirley Jackson Haunting of Hill House, and it has sprayed edges. So I figured I wish I could have this copy. I didn't have it, or if I do, I can't find it. I read it so long ago. I must have been in high school when I read that. And I wish I had a version of it, but I decided to just get it out of the library for now because I'm trying to declutter, not keep adding, and I don't have like bookshelves built the way I want to. So I figured I've been trying to do the library more just to stop cluttering as much. I say that, and then tomorrow we are actually going to Columbus, and there's a bookstore I've been wanting to go to up there. And I'm probably going to do some videoing of it if we get a chance to go. I'm not entirely sure we're going to get a chance to go, so stay tuned on that. Anyway, I'm going to read this after I finish A Haunting on the Hill. And as I'm reading, I keep feeling like it was reminding me of something, and I couldn't stop thinking about, what is this reminding me of? Was there a movie or another book? And it finally hit me, and what's funny is it's another adaptation or influenced by Shirley Jackson's A Haunting of Hill House, and it's a movie starring Catherine Zeta-Jones, and it's from the 90s, and it's called The Haunting, and it's about Liam Neeson's in it too, and he plays like a scientist, and he's studying fear, and he invites all of these people. And I believe Catherine Zeta-Jones plays like an actress. I don't know, it's been so long since I've seen it, but I feel like that's what I remember it as. And that's what I've been thinking of, because this book is about, Holly is like a playwright, and she's adapting a play for the stage. And she invites these actors and actresses, and also her girlfriend is helping with some of the music numbers in it. But they're adapting this play that's actually about, I think it's called The Witching Hour or something like that. And they are at Hill House because they needed a place to rehearse. And she felt it was very atmospheric. And so far, I am right past when all of the actors and actresses come to this house to practice. And a couple creepy things have happened, but nothing huge. There's no like jump scares really, and it's not that creepy, just a little creepy. But the thing I'm gonna say is gonna sound really creepy. So Holly keeps seeing this huge black rabbit, except she calls it a hare. I just thought it would be weird if I said a black hare. So she sees this large black rabbit, and she describes it as having like a human mouth, like teeth. And when one of the actors then sees it, because she thinks she's hallucinating, but then she sees it again and she's with one of the actors, and he's like, oh my God, is that a rabbit, a black rabbit? And it looks like it's as big as a couch. So it seems like it's a really large black rabbit. And it's giving me kind of like dark Alice in Wonderland vibes. So I thought that was a little strange, but nothing so far. I feel like it's been going a little slow. I'm not entirely like riveted into this story. I keep waiting for something to happen, but it's just been like little creepy things so far. And I keep having that Netflix series because that definitely had jump scares in it. That series just haunted me. And I feel like I have that bar set, and this hasn't risen to that just yet. But I also want to compare it and see how much it is borrowing from the original. So I'm going to be reading that because it's not that long anyway. I mean, it looks like it's kind of thick, but it's not that bad. I'm going to continue to read tonight. I don't have too much more to go, so I don't know if I'm going to do another update. I might, depending on what happens in it. And then hopefully I'll take you to the bookstore in Columbus tomorrow if we have time to stop there. But stay tuned.
Hey guys, I have an update for y'all with the Heiress. I am on page 323. And I'm getting towards the end of the book. I only have this much left of the book. So just want to say some thoughts real quick before I get to the end. Everything is kind of winding down and wrapping up. I'm sure there's a few more twists to come, but so far my favorite part of this book has been Ruby's letters. So Ruby is the older woman, the heiress that has passed away, and she has written these letters, and I have just found her stories and her letters the most entertaining part of this book. I feel like what's going on current day, like the drama going on with the estate in the current day time, is sort of lesser to Ruby's letters, because and then usually it's the opposite for me. Usually I'm way more interested in what current events are going on and not so much what happened in the past in books. But in this book, I really am enjoying Ruby's letters and learning about the life that Ruby led and what went into some of her decision making. So that's really all the thoughts I have now. So I still think I'm right about Jules, the guess that I had in the beginning, which is fun because I'm usually wrong with thrillers, but I do think I'm right about Jules. And I do think if I'm right, if you read a lot of thrillers, you'll probably be able to figure it out early too, but we'll see. I'm still not sure yet. I want to get to the end of the book and know for certain. So let's just finish this book up right now.
All right, I just finished, and I feel like I was a little underwhelmed. It definitely had a very interesting ending for sure, and I do feel like it was written well. I think I just have that Netflix series like stuck in my head, and that was a very high bar in my opinion. And I didn't realize I was going to do that when I wanted to read this, but I am moving on. I'm going to read the Shirley Jackson original just because I am curious to see if anything connected that I missed. And I just really want to read it again because I haven't read it in a really long time. So I'm going to give thoughts on that and final thoughts on both of them in the next time you see me. It's really dark out, but I have to share with you the northern lights. I can see them. You have to see.
I just finished The Heiress, and some final thoughts that I have. I was right. I was right about Jules. I just enjoyed this book okay. I didn't find it as gripping or as exciting or as twisty as, say, a Frida McFadden book, or like I found in The Clinic, which is a thriller I read and really enjoyed. It was a good book. It was solid. I can see why Jen likes it so much. I think Jen probably liked it more than me. But to me, it felt a little more contemporary fiction and less like twisty thriller. There are definitely twists. So if you like contemporary fiction, if you like general fiction, if you like little thriller twists, then I do think you would really enjoy this book. The writing is fantastic. Like I had said before, I thought that Ruby's part of the book was much more entertaining and fascinating to me than the other things going on. And you guys, really, at the end of this book, there's an epilogue. And I do not like epilogues. I don't. I wish they would just continue the book instead of writing epilogue. And then, you know, it's supposed to be like sometime later you're following another character. I just don't like that. I just like it better when the book ends. Like when this book was over, I was ready for it to end. And I did read the epilogue, but, because there is information in the epilogue that you want. But I don't enjoy epilogues. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't like epilogues. I just don't. I would just rather the book have another chapter than it be labeled epilogue. And the epilogues just feel very, I don't know. I feel like you get to the end of the book, everything's summarized and put up, and you're ready to put the book away, and then you have an epilogue. Like, it just seems like, and then it's like, you know, years sometimes down the line after everything's happened, and it's just not as interesting to me, I guess. I don't know. Thoughts and opinions on epilogues, please. Put them in the comments below. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that gets annoyed with epilogues? I can't be. Overall, I'd say this is probably a 3-star. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the best thriller ever. It wasn't really twisty-turny. I wasn't like jaw-dropping to me, but it was an enjoyable read, and I would recommend it for any contemporary fiction, general fiction, or light thriller readers out there.
As you guys saw, I got a chance to see the Northern Lights last night, and I don't know exactly the reason why we were able to see them this far south. I was very happy I got a chance to see them. It was just gorgeous, and it's actually supposed to happen again tonight that you're able to see them, so I am going to try and see them again tonight. So I finished Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. It's not all that long. There's actually a very long introduction in here by Guillermo del Toro, he has done a lot of horror movies, and I think that's why they chose him he was actually the series editor, it says. They chose him to do the introduction for this. And I don't know if you guys ever read something like in high school or even in college and then read it, you know, years later. But I feel like I got more out of reading it this time than I remember reading in high school. And I'm sure that would be true of a lot of different books. I think sometimes things that you read in high school you may not necessarily like. When you're much older, I feel like I wouldn't like The Great Gatsby as much as I did in high school as an adult. But for this one, I feel I appreciated it even more now than I did back then. And it might be because I still can't get out of my head the Netflix series, the adaptation that Mike Flanagan did, director. I was going to say horror director, but I think he does all kinds of movies. But he did such a great job with an interpretation of this. And it's not exactly like this story at all. He uses some of the character names, obviously the Hill House, and he creates a whole other fictional tale. And it's just that one, I was gonna rewatch that, but it creeped me out so bad the first time. I don't feel like getting that creeped out again. It's bad enough reading a couple creepy stories, and I have a really bad habit of completely creeping myself out and then having a hard time sleeping. So I feel like I've hit my limit. I need to move on to something else. This one made me not like A Haunting on the Hill as much as after I just finished this one. I don't know if that makes sense, but I realized something, and Haunting on the Hill, it keeps changing the writing perspective. Like typically a book is going to just, be it's either going to be a first person narrative or third person narrative, and it jumps all over the place. So depending on the chapter, and they're very short chapters, sometimes you're getting an I narrator, sometimes you're getting third person omniscient, and this one is in third person omniscient. And I just very much appreciate and enjoy Shirley Jackson's writing. The details that she writes and the nuances of how she constructs her stories, I just am a fan of. And she writes horror in just a different way. I was really glad that I ended up rereading this. And I would say I ended up giving this a 3 stars. I might even feel like it's 2 stars after I reread Haunting of Hill House. This one just does, the characters are not drawn out. They're very surface. You don't get to know them that well. And she does take some elements of A Haunting of Hill House. The rabbit, I didn't realize that there's a couple scenes with a rabbit in A Haunting of Hill House, but it's very minimal. And she took that element and did something else with it. I think she was trying to do something in terms of the witch aspect of this one. But I just feel, and I know it may not be fair to compare her writing to Shirley Jackson, but I ended up not liking this one as much. And I feel like it's supposed to go together. I mean, she used that as inspiration, so maybe it is fair to compare them. I don't know. But this one I ended up not liking as much. I don't know how much I would recommend it, but I know I have in other videos, I would highly recommend Shirley Jackson, anything that you would want to read. There are a couple books by her that I haven't read that make me want to read them now, but I definitely need to move on from horror / anything super creepy. So I might just go to like a regular thriller or a literary thriller after this. I kind of almost want to do a romance or a light book after this because they are super creepy. So I hope that you enjoyed watching as we read a book that we pick out of our TBR jar. I did enjoy the book that she's reading, The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. It's a very quick read, but I very much enjoyed that book. Hopefully she liked it too. Hopefully you come back to see us read all of our other most anticipated reads, and until next time.